really excited today to be presenting a toast to Hogsmeade. So this is actually my very cold coffee from this morning, but my tummy will be warmed up again shortly because I'm gonna make 4 different hot versions of some popular Harry Potter drinks. So first up is a nice toasty warm pumpkin juice, which I think is a good kind of transition drink between fall and winter because it's got apple cider and pumpkin. So it's still got some of those fall flavors, but will warm you right up. And then next up is a Polyjuice potion, which will be doing a white hot chocolate with matcha powder to get that nice green color. It is really good. Then I'll have a pink hot cocoa. It is peppermint hot cocoa that is pink, and that is inspired by our favorite lady, Dolores Umbridge, and her pink tea. And last, I'll be making a cinnamon cider, which of course is a family-friendly version of Firewhisky. But for any grown-ups watching, I can't stop you from putting whatever you want in your drinks. But alright, I'm gonna go head into the kitchen and get started.
First up, we have our pumpkin juice. Here are the ingredients you'll need. 1 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, half a cup of pumpkin puree, 2.5 cups of apple cider or apple juice and 1 cup of water, a half a teaspoon of vanilla, and then you can add honey or maple syrup to taste if you want it a little bit sweeter. Next, we're going to use a blender. All you have to do is put all the ingredients into the blender, and then you'll pulse it a few times just to make sure it's all mixed together. And you probably have a normal looking blender at your house, so any blender will work. Then it's stove time. So you just heat the mixture up on the stove and let it simmer for about 5 minutes. I recorded like 25 minutes of my stove heating up so I could get this sweet shot of it simmering. Hopefully yours doesn't take that long. And then you can take it off the heat, let it cool down a little bit, and serve it hot or chilled. It can be refrigerated for later, just make sure you shake it up before you drink it again. Alright, up next is our beautiful, delicious green Polyjuice potion. Here's what you'll need to make this drink. It has 16 ounces of chopped white chocolate, or you can just use chips like I did. 2 tablespoons of honey or your favorite honey alternative, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 2 teaspoons of ground matcha tea, and then there's 1 cup of milk or your favorite milk alternative. I'm using oat milk, and a 14-ounce can of coconut milk. Then, if you want, you can use mini marshmallows to top it off. It's right to the stove with our potion. You're gonna put all the ingredients in a saucepan except for the vanilla. And my coconut milk kind of separated, so it made a little mess, but it quickly kind of smooths out with the heat and stirring. And you'll want to continuously stir this mixture until it's heated through and the chocolate is all the way melted. And you might still have some lumps of the matcha powder, so I switched to a whisk and that really helped with that problem and it brought out a lot of the green color. Then you turn off the heat and add the vanilla. And then you can take it off the heat and serve it right away with some mini marshmallows. And the recipe I got this from, they toasted the marshmallows, so you can definitely try that. Alright, you may hate this character, but hopefully you will like this pink hot cocoa inspired by Dolores Umbridge and her pink tea. Here's what you'll need for this recipe. Again, you'll need some white chocolate. You'll need 8 ounces, and I also use chips for this one. You need 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and then you'll need 4 cups total of milk. I can only fit 2 cups into my glass cup. And then you can add a whipped topping if you would like. And you'll need 4 candy canes plus any extra that you want to use as topping. So first we'll go to the stove. All you need to do at first is heat up the milk over medium heat until it starts steaming. Don't let the milk boil. And while the milk is heating up, there's a fun thing to do. You need to crush up the candy canes. The original recipe I found said to use a rolling pin, and I don't know if they meant to like roll it over the candy canes, but that didn't really work, so I started hitting them. And yeah, this could be a fun activity for the whole family. Alright, so you can see here that our milk started to steam. So now we just add the chocolate and the candy cane pieces. And you'll want to stir those pretty much constantly so they can melt and not stick to the bottom of the pan. So I've been stirring for a little bit here, and you can kind of see the color coming through. It looks a little pale on the camera. You can always add some like food coloring if you want it to be really pink. And then once the chocolate and candy cane pieces are melted, you can turn off the heat and add in the vanilla. Then it's ready to serve. You can serve this with some whipped cream if you'd like, and an extra candy cane. And it's a lot sweeter than Umbridge. Last but definitely not least is a very special family-friendly Firewhisky. In this case, it's a cinnamon pear cider. It's a little bit more involved, but it'll be worth it. You'll need 1.5 to 2 pounds of pears with the stems removed, and you'll have to slice them about 1/4 inch thick. You'll do the same thing with a gala apple, and then you'll also need a navel orange peeled and cut into wedges. Hopefully you can do a neater job with yours than I did. You'll need 6 total cups of water, a tablespoon of ground cinnamon, a tablespoon of whole cloves, and 1/2 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. I think you could also customize the spices. I broke out the Dutch oven for this one, because the first step is to just add all of those ingredients into your large pot or Dutch oven. Once you've added everything, you'll want to give it a good stir, kind of mix it all together, and you'll want to make sure that everything is at least partially covered by the water. That looks pretty good. Then you'll cover the pot and let it simmer over medium heat for about an hour, or until the fruit is nice and soft, which this has been simmering for a while. And you'll take it off the heat and mash up those ingredients. And I just used a potato masher. After this, you'll let it cool and then you'll strain it. You can use a strainer or a cheesecloth, whatever you want to strain the cider through, and then you can discard the solid parts. And this recipe is really good hot or chilled. I drank it warm and put a cinnamon stick in it. It is really good. Thank you so much for watching this and other Hogsmeade programs this week. Here are some credits for the music, the recipes, and the mugs that I featured.